Welcome back, viewers. You're watching the Savera and I'm Shefali. A massive explosion and fire broke out late Tuesday night on the Jaipur-Ajmer highway near Kokampura in Dudu, after a chemical tanker collided with a truck carrying LPG cylinders, triggered a chain of devastating blast. The collision, which occurred around 10 p.m., resulted in the death of one person, while several others sustained injuries. The aftermath was catastrophic. Over 200 gas cylinders exploded one after another, with some flying as far as 500 meters from the site. The terrifying explosions continued for nearly 2 hours, and the sound of the blast were reportedly heard for up to 10 kilometers away. According to police, the chemical tanker was carrying benzene, a highly flammable petrochemical compound, from Jaipur to Gujarat. Following the impact, the tanker's cabin burst into flames, which quickly spread to the LPG cylinders on the parked truck. Within seconds, the area turned into fireball as the cylinders began detonating in rapid succession, engulfing nearly vehicles and structures. Eyewitnesses described the scene as a firestorm. One local resident said the explosions were so powerful that it felt like an earthquake. Burning cylinders were flying across the field and roads. Fire and rescue operations were launched immediately. 12 fire engines from Jaipur, Dudu and neighboring areas battled the flames for more than 3 hours, finally bringing the blaze under control around 1:30 a.m. Today, however, the temperature of the chemical tanker remains dangerously high even hours later, prompting continuous cooling efforts with water until morning. Authorities said the chemical would be transferred to another tanker once the substance or the situation stabilizes. The deceased is believed to be a driver of the chemical tanker who was burnt alive inside the vehicle. His body was later recovered and taken to SMS hospital in Jaipur, where officials said identification will be confirmed through DNA testing due to the extent of the burns. The remains were brought to the hospital in a plastic bag around 2 a.m. Truck driver Shahrukh, who nearly escaped death, said the accident occurred when the tanker driver, upon spotting an RTO vehicle approaching from the opposite direction, tried to avoid inspection by swerving towards a dhaba. In doing so, the tanker rammed into the stationary truck loaded with gas cylinders. The impact ignited both vehicles almost instantly. The fire spread so fast that there was no time to react, said Shahrukh. 5 other parked vehicles were also gutted in the blaze. The intense heat and blast caused panic among locals and travelers, with some vehicles abandoned on the road as people fled for safety. For nearly 2 hours, there was no immediate security measure of fire tenders on the site, according to eyewitnesses. The situation worsened as exploding cylinders continued to shatter across fields and nearby buildings. District officials, including SDM Balveer Singh and ASP Shalvai Barwai, rushed to the spot, following later by Deputy CM Prem Chand Bajwa and Jaipur Rural SP Rashid Dokra Dodi. A massive 7-kilometer long traffic jam formed on both sides of the highway, forcing police to divert vehicles from Kishangarh via Roopnagar and from Jaipur via Tong Road. The highway remained completely closed through the night and was reopened at 4:30 a.m. today morning after debris was cleared and the fire was fully extinguished. Mosmabad Tehsildar Surendra Vishnoi confirmed that the tanker was carrying benzene, a highly volatile and flammable chemical. Experts from the petrochemical department were called to assess the risk of further explosions. In the chaos, several bystanders were injured. Among them was truck conductor Saddam Mohammed, who sustained serious burn injuries and was admitted to Jeevan Rekha Hospital in Bankrota. Another young man crossing the highway was also hurt, which one of the cylinders exploded nearby. Officials said around 330 cylinders were loaded in the truck, out of which 200 exploded. Burnt metal fragments and cylinder parts were found scattered across the highway, nearby fields and dhabas. Even after the flames were diffused, the fear of another explosion lingered for hours due to the tanker's unstability chemical load. Firefighters continued spraying water throughout the night to reduce the tank's temperature. By dawn, the charred remains of vehicles, twisted metal cylinders, and scorched earth stretches across the highway, serving as grim reminders of the intensity of the inferno. The incident caused a panic across nearby villages as the family and thunderous blasts were visible and audible from 7 kilometers away. Authorities have launched a detailed investigation into the attack, focusing on the tanker's route, driver negligence, and possible safety violations related to the transport of hazardous material. What began as a routine night on the Jaipur-Ajmer highway turned as one of the most terrifying fire disasters in recent memory, exposing the grave risk of transporting flammable materials on grounded routes without adequate safety measures. That's all for now in this update. Stay tuned to the Savera, download the app and follow us on various social media platforms.